All right, back tonight here on In Focus, and thanks for staying on. President Cyril Ramaphosa has signed a proclamation for the Special Investigating Unit to probe 19 contracts in the Eastern Cape Health Department for alleged fraud and corruption. They include agreements for the procurement of cleaning services at the Duncan Village Hospital in East London and the supply of meat to the Bisho, Ubela and Grey Hospital. SIU spokesperson Kaizer Kganyago joins us now for more on those. Kaizer, good to have you, and thank you very much for your time this evening.
Good evening, and good evening to your viewers, Thabo.
I see, I don't know whether these are all contract numbers, but at least it tells us from the proclamation that these are bid or order numbers, 19 of them that we are looking at in relation to those contracts. Were all these contracts paid?
Yes, some of them were paid, some of them we had to put on hold. But this is just a sample of some of the contracts. The contracts are much more than that. They must be going up to about more than 30 contracts.
Right. And is there something peculiar about them? Because in one of the investigations, we could have seen, for example, a hospital procuring skinny jeans, which is something quite bizarre for a health facility to be procuring. Are there some of the orders that are out of the ordinary in terms of what would have been purchased here?
No, with this one, there is nothing out of the ordinary. The only reason why we have it here is because an interesting phenomenon happened. All of these contracts were given to one company. And the mother of the owner of this company works for the Department of Health in the HR department. And she is the one who was pushing. It was just a small contract of 27,000 there, whatever, but within a period, they were paid over 3 million rand and so on. They went through an RFQ process until somebody said, no, man, there's something wrong here. How can this one company get all of these contracts? And when they went deeper into this, they found that they were the mother of this daughter here works for the HR department in the hospital, and then she's the one. There are messages where she is coercing and interfering in SCM processes so that the daughter's company can benefit, and we then had to establish whether she was benefiting by being the mother.
Yeah. So this happened between August 2022 and to date. So it would have been something that would have happened in the period of what, 2 years?
The investigation will be on the period of 2 years, but this has been happening as far back as 2014.
As far back as 2014. And what's the manner in which this was happening? I mean, was there a particular manner in which this was done, or it would have been an RFQ, normal processes? It's just that the approval process would have been then subverted by the mother who is in the system.
Yes, it was a normal RFQ process, but there were instances, for example, where this particular person was disqualified because they did not disclose that the mother is an employee there. But they still went around it and appointed them either way, even when the minutes are showing of the committee that was evaluating that this company was disqualified. They still continued and gave the work to the company.
Yeah. And inflation of prices?
This is something that we will have to look into, because we obviously believe that there is a lot of shenanigans that were happening here. And when we get into these contracts, we will then have to deal with them one by one, because as I say, we are only looking at the 2 years, 2022 to now. But I had somebody who was interviewed in one of the stations saying this should even go backwards. And like I say, we have already seen in our preliminary investigation that between 2014 and now, this company was paid over 3 million rand.
So there are guidelines, there are manuals, there are practices that departments need to follow, including the adjudication committee. So if you're saying there could have been flouting of those particular guidelines, including in instances where it became very clear that there is conflict of interest because the owner of the company has direct relations with one of the persons working at the department, does that mean the adjudication committee itself, or some in the adjudication committee, could be implicated here?
No, definitely, because the mother did not sit there. She was in the HR department. Therefore, obviously, she has got people who are sitting there, but there's also WhatsApp messages and emails that we saw, where she was coercing people to give these contracts to the daughter's company.
And those
And
individuals.
what was very interesting,
Yeah.
it's the fact that she was so blatant that she would write to people and say, why are you not giving this to this one, and so on and so on. Blatant as that in the emails that we have.
Yeah. Are the whistleblowers here, are there companies, for example, that would have also be bidding for the same kind of contracts that would have lost here?
Yeah, we can't divulge who gave us the information because, nowadays for their security, we've got to protect them. But these are the people who are interested in the matter in this case.
Yeah. And so far, I mean, looking at this matter, is it an open and shut case? Are there items for the asset forfeiture unit? Are there such instances that you would need to get into this particular case?
Yeah, no, for us, it's more of an open and shut case. It's not one of those that will take us long to investigate because it is one company that we are dealing with. And we see a lot of prospect for the recovery of the money because at the end of it all, these people did not go in line with the constitution of the country that says that it is when you procure anything from the state, it must be done in a fair and open and transparent manner.
Yeah.
Therefore, already this is not fair and transparent, and therefore where anything that goes against the constitution of the country starts in a wrong footing. And from there, we then go to the processes in the SCM and who was involved. And ultimately, we'll get to a point where we say who did what and who did not do what. And then we will then, over and above the owner of the company and the mother who was there, who did not declare. In some instances, they declared, in some they didn't. And therefore, even when they declared, they still continued with this awarding. Therefore, we will then get to that as quickly as possible. It's going to be a close and shut case very quickly, and then we will move on.
At this point, any applications to the tribunal for any assets to be seized?
Not at the moment, because we are still at the stage of gathering officially now the information from the department, all the records from the SCM meetings, because we believe that they are not the only ones who are involved here.